going to your question about liberal arts institution, I mean, for centuries, liberal arts was the way to educate people, right? Create that cultivation of the intellect, cultivation of the mind, but also connecting the classroom experience with the outside the classroom experience, that integration of knowledge, because we're creatures with an intellect and will, and they both affect each other when we talk about education. So in my area, we focus a lot of the will formation, right? But I don't want to exclude the intellect.
Sure.
So what we try to do in our student life office is make connections with what they're learning in the classroom, right? These deep, enduring questions that all humans should be asking, philosophical questions, theological questions, questions about anthropology, questions about vocation and, what is God requiring of me? So we try to tackle those questions outside the classroom and make connections as they leave the classroom. They're still talking about those issues. In the residence halls, they're talking about those issues. In the dining hall, on the athletic field. So we want to support that environment. We want to continue those conversations and reflect on those conversations, because though what they're learning in the classroom, what our students are learning, should have application in their life, right? Benedict says something about the purpose of knowing the truth is to know the good. And we want our students to know the truth and the goodness in their life outside the classroom.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I love that you bring up anthropology and even already kind of defined a little bit of what a human person is, because I think a lot of times in modern education, especially in some of the more simple public schools and stuff, they don't even ask that question or remotely get near it. And so to me, the idea of liberal arts education or formation is primarily towards what a human person is, what is a human being, what is a human nature. So to be able to ask that question and to be able to explain and share that question and the answer is such a deeply rooted aspect of what I see here.
Yes, absolutely. Because modern universities, unfortunately, have taken a different anthropology. And as we know, there's no neutral ground with that, right? If you're not following our Lord and the teaching of the church, you'll follow something else. And most secular universities follow what I consider a false anthropology. And so that affects their education, their politics, right? And that's what you see today in our culture. It's just this confusion about enduring things. Man becomes the center of all things, right? Instead of man receiving his creation, receiving the truth that he encounters, it's manufacturing truth. It's manufacturing who the human person is. And so we don't want to fall into that trap, right? We want to follow truth where it may lead. We believe that faith and truth, or faith and reason, coexist, right? And they're not competing, they're integrated. I remember grad school, a professor of mine, a really good guy, he said, faith and reason don't belong at the university. There's no place for faith, only reason. And I thought to myself, that's a partial truth, right? So I don't like that answer. And so I confronted him on it, and he was like, yeah, thanks, Joe. See you later. He didn't like my response, but I think that's the prevailing vision today of the university.
Yeah. In my experience, for my undergrad, I went to just a secular state university, and in large part, it felt like they were just preparing us to be good little workers, right? And so there's one thing, obviously, we want our students to have material success. That's a great thing, but balanced, right? Balanced with a deep spiritual life and an understanding of their role in the cosmos beyond just getting wealth.
That's right.
And it seems to me that that's another thing that's really going after colleges right now, is it's just mills for workers. It's just sending people out to go make money and serve the state, basically, or the almighty dollar. Whereas here, it's not just about that, right?
It goes back to liberal, right? It's to free man, right, for his true purpose. And so we want students to understand the deeper meaning behind their education. And it's that cultivation of the intellect for freedom, right? Not to be enslaved to the state. I always tell our students, if you don't learn to master yourself, someone else will master you, right? And this goes in that, we want to be free individuals. We want to accept our freedom and know that there are bounds. It's not absolute freedom. There are bounds to our freedom. And we have to learn that too, right? And that's where virtue comes into play. We want them to follow the truth, the goodness, and the beautiful, and not feel compelled to, I have to do this job or this occupation to serve some other end, right? That our knowledge is good in of itself, and to experience that here, right? To see these realities, it takes time, right? It takes good teachers in the classroom to help enlighten that mind, but also takes witnesses to show them and model for them how that can be lived out. Right? I think that's what we try to do here.
If you enjoyed the Benedictine Dialogues today, I want to invite you to visit our website, media.benedictine.edu. Be sure to subscribe to our weekly newsletter where you will receive all of the latest in your inbox, or subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Thanks again for watching. God bless.